I've been sitting with something that I have not been able to say aloud for quite some time. And today I choose to release that and name it. Ooh. I have been unemployed for a year and a half now. Ugh. Every time I say that, it just feels heavy. And I've been consuming a lot of media lately, of corporate layoffs, of unemployment rates rising. And it wasn't the stats that, or the statistics of the time that have prompted me to create this episode. It was more of my own personal experience and also two videos that came across on TikTok recently. So, one was a woman who was crying because she had heard back from an employer who had decided to see her. And it wasn't tears of joy, it was tears of relief. And she was sobbing, man. And there was a man, his video was a little bit more comical. It was on the fact that these postings that we see online, they have to be fake because nobody's hiring. And it made me laugh, but it resonated with me so much. And in the comments, there were thousands of people agreeing to the same thing. You know, me too. And like, I thought I was the only one. And as I was watching those videos, there I was, sitting in my room, thinking I was the only one. And I realized that we're all experiencing the same thing in our separate rooms, feeling alone. And the rhetoric of unemployment is being tossed around in the news, but no one is speaking about it. So, this is what this is. This is not a how to. It's not there's not going to be any list at the end of this video. Um, it's not going to be a video of how to get over because I'm not over it. I'm in the thick of it, actually. And I want to talk about it because nobody really understands what it is like on the inside. We only see the outside because I perform well. On the outside, ooh, I'm that girl. On the inside, it feels like stagnation. It feels like anxiety over bills that keep coming, that whether I'm ready to pay for them or not, they consume my account. It feels like overconsumption of productivity media because you're trying to do better. It feels like 2 a.m. future planning aimlessly because you really don't have no money. It feels like minimal conversations with friends. And it feels like holding on to an old version of yourself while thinking that you should become somebody else. It looks like being tired of actually being tired. Before I get into all of that, I want to actually start with not the hardest part of being unemployed, but definitely an element. And we don't name it as such, but I want to name it as such because with unemployment, you kind of go through this cycle. And of course, I'm speaking about the cycle of grief. When I was first unemployed, man, at first, I mean, I was happy. I enjoyed every bit of it. Why? Because I was tired of corporate burnout. I had a great job with an amazing company. Um, they were doing layoffs because the company was downsizing. And I said, hey, whew, lucky me. Um, After that, it became like a stab in my chest. Not But it felt like something shifted. It felt like, okay, I can deal with this. I can just um, do more hobbies, or I'm taking a sabbatical. And after a few months, whew, it started to feel like, how do I explain this? It started to feel like a lie. It started to feel like, what the is this? And when I say a lie, I mean, I've always been that girl, especially coming from like a Caribbean household. I've been like first gen here, eldest daughter, if you know, you know. And I was always expected to be excellent, have an excellent career, become something better, become something amazing. And I took a lot of pride and joy in that. And I know a lot of people do, right? So this is not necessarily about the job, but about the identity shift. And so when I lost my job, or before losing the job, getting that position that I had, I felt pristine. I felt important. I felt like, oh, I'm making it. I'm pushing through, because I grew up in the hood, and it's not cliche. Like, it's not an easy thing. Sometimes you don't see more for yourself in those environments. And truly, and I thought, man, I'm out of here. And so being let go after some time felt like, you're not as smart as you think you are. You're not as confident. You're not as valuable. You're not that girl. And I even felt more of that as time progressed, because I'm not getting any interviews. I'm pushing out my resume. My resume is chef's kiss. Okay? And nothing at all. Everything is, unfortunately, we don't want you. Unfortunately, forget about it, miss. It doesn't make no sense. And it's funny because when I first got let go, or I was made redundant, I felt like I was disappointing my family. I felt like everyone's gonna look at me like, girl, what happened? This is your fault. Though my family, they're not like that. They've never said those things. It wasn't heard, but it was definitely felt. And unemployment for many, I'm just using my example, but I know for many, that grief cycle looks completely different. It looks like anger. It looks like bargaining, like one more application, or depression. It looks like the stages of grief. And it doesn't just live in the mind, you know? And that's what I found when it comes to dealing with all of this, is that it transfers over to the body. So a bad day in, like, when you're unemployed, for me looked like sleeping all day or not sleeping at all. It looked like eating maybe, or eating too much. It looked like waking up at 10 a.m., grabbing my phone, looking at social media, and hopping between Instagram and TikTok and whatever other socials, or going on Netflix and binge watching a show that I probably already watched, or finding new shows, to pass the time. And then the opposite of that, that's a bad day. And then the opposite of that looked like creating a plan, having structure, saying, okay, I'm going to do this today, but nothing gets done. It looks like creating tasks and color coding and putting it in my Google calendar and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do today. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. And before the day's even done, I feel like I'm going to start over tomorrow. And it's funny because when you're unemployed, you lack so much routine. I know that because I've lived it. And it's because you don't have anything to do outside of apply for jobs or try to make some money somehow. And it's not just your routines that get disrupted, you know? It's your whole entire nervous system. It's not it's not because you're sleeping because you're tired. Physically, you're mentally drained. You are it's escapism. Sleeping is a way to escape. You know, eating is a way to distract yourself. Um, Creating notes in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. to say, okay, I'm planning my future with no money, no aim, can't even see the future properly, just to feel like you're doing something. That messes with your subconscious like none other. I don't even know how to explain that feeling because you're sitting there like, man, what's next? I can't see now what's next. I don't know what's next. And sometimes I would be in a car, I'll be in my like shower, and streams of tears will just fall from my eye. And unlike the girl that was on TikTok that received the um, callback, there's no relief. It's just tears. It's just exhaustion. It's just what the am I gonna do? And with all of that, on top of all of that, that you're feeling in your body, you are expected to perform well, actually. You know, I know when people would call me or I would see my friends and they'd say, "Oh, what's going on now?" I actually had a rehearsing like line. "Oh, nothing much. How are you?" And I would quickly shift the conversation back to them. Don't talk. I don't want to talk about my work. I don't want to talk about what's going on. Don't ask me. Please don't ask me. I'm tired. And it sucks. It actually sucks. If it's not that, it's I'm actually lying about where I work. I'd say, "Oh, I work where I used to work." And nobody would ask me anything because it's normal for you to have been working there for so long. So everything's fine. I remember going to a party with a friend because I was performing and I said, I can go out. I'm tired of isolating myself. I don't want to be in the house anymore. This is stupid. So I went out. I enjoyed myself. It felt like a great escape. For moments, I felt like I wasn't unemployed. I laughed. I danced. I did everything. And on my way back home, I had to stop for gas. I put the card in and the card was declined. Shame. For shame. And that's at least what I was thinking, you know? And I laugh at it, but it's not funny. It's not funny. It's so disheartening because how dare I go out, enjoy my life, and I don't have no money in the bank. Had to push the car. Not physically, you know, when you have to drive on E? Yeah, straight home. And it's more than just that experience. That's the thing about being in the thick of it and being unemployed for so long. It's not those one-offs like, "Oh, my card declined one time." It's going to the store and putting hope if you don't have a private screen on, you're turning down the lights so that no one sees that you're transferring from one account to another account to pay for the item. It is hoping that nobody asks you for a drink or when you're going out. It's hoping that when you go enjoy yourself to a dinner and an obligated brunch, it's because nowadays friendships have been so, if you're not doing brunch, if you're not going out, it's not fun. We're not really, it's been so glamorized. Nobody like, well, I have great friends, but social media has us believing that our time spent with our friends has to be an outing. But when you're unemployed, that means I don't have time for friends. That means I don't have time for the outings. It means I don't have it. But because you're in the performance of it, it's not pretending that you have it. It's you don't want no one to know because there's shame with that. There's guilt with that, you know? There's this idea that you have to, at this big age, at my big age, I can't be unemployed. That means you are lazy. You're not a good worker. Your resume is not good. It means all the things except for the secret shame. It doesn't mean the what I just described in the body. It doesn't mean that my nervous system is frigged up. I'm in survival. It means you are lazy, like I said. No, you're not trying it hard enough. You don't want it bad. You're not hustling. You're not doing what you're supposed to. Whew, man. I can't describe to you the amount of times that I had to perform and how exhausting feeling what I feel and performing is. To perform, and then you perform internally. Like, let's talk about that, when you take journal notes saying, oh, okay, today, and you try to manifest and you try to think of positive thoughts and all this shit. Not to say it doesn't work, but all this shit you perform internally thinking like, okay, if I just think better, if I just do this one thing, it will get better. It's so draining. I'm so tired. And I don't want this episode to feel like a complaint or sympathy because that's not even what it is. It's just my truth. It's what I've been holding this in for so long because, man, if you knew me, you would never guess. How can I be in the position I'm in for so long? A year and a half? Oh. And outside of that, I know there's people that have been in it longer. I personally know individuals that have been in it longer. I know people with children that have been unemployed for longer, and I can't imagine what they're going through. I know individuals who have been habitual. I don't know what is it? Like, you've been unemployed, employed, unemployed, employed, unemployed, employed. It's like a cycle of can't keep a job, and it has nothing to do with their work ethic. All about the company, especially now. Like, just open a news article and you'll see, you know? And after all the performing, you're left with yourself, because every night you have to go back to yourself. And when I say the room gets quiet, that's how I explain it. The room gets quiet. And when I say that, I mean you stop going out less because you're tired of performing. You don't have it. So that means your friends stop checking in on you more because they think you're okay. And it also looks like those 2 a.m., like that I was speaking about, those 2 a.m. Bursts of motivation that you feel to say, okay, I need to run the numbers. You run the numbers and they're still the same. It's the same $100 you have in your account, and it doesn't matter how many times you run it, it will be the same $100 with a phone bill that is knocking on your door a week later, and you're sitting there and you try to envision your future. And I think those are the moments for me that really get me. It's yes, the shock of it. Yes, my body's tired. Yes, I'm tired of saying, "Oh, everything's good. I'm great." I'm all of that, but when I sit with myself, when you sit with yourself in unemployment, like for example, the person that has a child and is unemployed and has been unemployed for so long, it's sitting in those moments where the little that you have is just enough for the baby, for your child. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not even enough. Groceries are high, life is expensive, things are, you feel like you're suffocating, quite literally. You feel like, man, what am I doing? It's funny because I'm not a violent person, but if you feel like you want to, you know what I'm saying? Get the Draco. Real, because what what is this that I'm going through? Like what am I really going through? And it's not just the feeling sad and depression of it. It's chipping away every time you send an application, you revise your resume, you send it out to match the job posting, and silence or unfortunately. It chips away at your confidence because you pick yourself back up every day to do that. And what do they say? Doing the same thing over and over is the definition of insanity? I'm insane. I must be. And I can imagine how so many people are feeling this. Like they're in the thick of it. They're feeling that this shit is crazy. I don't promote the shenanigans, the robbing, the stealing, the this, the that. I don't promote it, but I could understand. That sounds crazy to say, but I can understand because people are suffering in unemployment, in the quiet, silently at that. I'm too embarrassed to tell my family that I can't feed my kids, especially as a man. I'm not a man, but especially as a man. Someone said that to me earlier, like, ugh, being unemployed as a woman, but try being unemployed as a man. I couldn't imagine because the societal pressure to perform, the societal pressure to provide, yet there's no provision. And what really gets me the most, I mean, everything gets me, but what brings me to tears every time is my future planning. I have big future. I have big plans for my future. I see, or I used to see, I don't know if I see much of it now, but I used to see car, house, land. I used to see investments and network and FU money. I used to see all of it. A business that's booming or a career that is flourishing. Now, I don't see that. Now, I don't see that at all. It's like I can see it, but I can't touch it. I can't feel like planning or making those plans is worth it because what's the point? Look at your age. Like your savings is depleting. And it's like that reminder every time because the more and more months go by, the further and further my future escapes me. And that hurts because I've always been the big dreamer, and now it sounds cliche, but I don't dream at all. That's fucked up, you know? And I'm not, trigger warning, I'm not suicidal, but I'll be honest, I have suicidal ideations. I'll think about there's another video I seen on TikTok, and I agree. Thousands, it was viral. Thousands of people. She said, does anyone feel like this? Exactly how I feel right now. Does anyone feel like this? You know, they don't want to kill themselves. They don't want to really die, but they don't want to be on this earth anymore. They don't want to feel like they should be here anymore. Like there's nothing to contribute to society. And I felt that. And the reason why is because no, I don't want to kill myself. I want to still be here because I have glimmer of hope, but my hope is depleting. And as many months go by, soon I'll feel even more hopeless. And I know there's somebody listening to this right now that is feeling exactly that. I don't want to be here. What's the point? In fact, I know someone right now. I won't call their name, but they are feeling absolutely hopeless. They are literally living for their kids. And that is crazy to me. I know people say that with such joy. I live for my kids, but when that's a choice, if that makes sense, there's a difference between I live for my kids and I just living for my kids. One is abundance speaking. You have a choice in the matter. You want to. And the other is survival. The only reason why I'm living is because these kids are in front of me. I don't have any children. And so, on the flip side of that, I think about the individuals who are on the edge, who don't have kids and they don't have the things to live for. They don't feel like they're contributing to society. They don't feel important. They don't feel seen. How thin is their line? Like what will be their 13 reason why? Literally. And so as I close, I wrote something for my listeners because like I said, this episode has no list at the end of it. I don't have the answers. I won't pretend to have them today, but I want my listeners to feel seen. I want the person that clicked on this video to feel seen, to know that, man, I'm not the only one. Whatever your performative actions are, whatever your quiet place looks like, whatever your grief cycle looks like, or your whatever is manifesting in your body, I see it, I understand it, I feel it, I'm in it. And you're not alone. It's not me and you. It's you and I and a lot more people than you think. And so I wrote this to the one who hasn't told anyone how heavy it actually has been. The one who cried in the car and walked back inside like nothing happened. That has been me. The one whose future used to feel wide open and now feels like it's getting through the week. The one who's been performing fine for so long, they forgot they were actually performing. I see you. I see you. And I want to say this. If nobody has said it to you, you're not behind, because that's exactly how I feel right now. You're not behind. You're not a failure. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You are a person living through something that's genuinely hard. The season that you're in currently is genuinely hard. Do you understand? It is genuinely hard. Whew. Still getting up, still trying, still showing up for your life, even when you feel like there's no point of showing up. That's not nothing. You still trying, still being here, is everything. And I say that with a full heart because I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. You know, if nobody has given you the permission yet, here it is. I give you the permission to just be, not rush into becoming, not rush into the next application to figure it out now. Just be, not performing to recover, not pretending to picture like the picture is clearer than it is, because it's not. It's bleak. You can't see it. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to try and put on glasses. It's okay to not see the next step because I know that feeling. It's okay to not force gratitude, especially for individuals that are, like are spiritually grounded. It's okay to not force gratitude, to say, oh, somebody else has it worse than me. It is okay. Whew. Reading that and saying it aloud again has been so hard for me because, like I said, I'm right in it with you. I'm not above it, I'm there. This has been Slō Exhale with Kiba Dean. And whatever you're holding, I hope this helped you to release it slowly.